Greetings, gamers. This is Jared Leopold with Proxim by Design. I am here to comment a little bit on the top four game of the Phoenix Pod, the first ever uh, closed tournament list for the new season. We are well into it. We just got some new errata literally yesterday. We're going to try and use what the cards were done previously. We've got AppleSith versus KillerCactus, playing the wonderful game of Ashes Reborn by Plaid Hat. It's being played on Ash Techie. Huge shout out to Dijon and everyone else who helped out with design and upkeeping this. If you aren't a Patreon person and you're watching this, might be worth hopping over there and giving giving them a little bit of love. I think you can look it up for Ash Techie. Should be able to find it on there. They deserve all the monies for all the work that they're doing. All right, looks like AppleSith has thrown back what he was looking at. Now, I just watched AppleSith play a couple days ago in his play and mash to make top four, so I know what his deck is about. And Killer Cactus myrtleized me on in round four, or sorry, round three of my tournament during this for this tournament anyway. Um, uh, Cactus and I both agreed, at least in principle, on what how, ways to handle Pact, the Phoenix Attendant Chain of Transfusion combo, and that is to run Herald because he can use his Mark Prey ability and just zot those guys. And then the rest of the deck just continues out with your own. Now, for Killer Cactus' deck, he will go with his own Phoenix Attendant Chain of Transfusion. Um, and something else he's got in there is he's got some vampires. AppleSith has got a nice spread of dice there. Yep, starts off with the Master Vampire right there. Get those discard popped ups. There we go. Killer Cactus going first. Pretty unusual. We're just seeing a two-color deck out of Killer Cactus, which I think we're going to see more of that with the new cards. Pretty fascinating. All right, AppleSith counters with a Lightbringer, which Lightbringer and Echo are just BFFs, right? We see a Chaos Gravity already hit the bin for AppleSith. Both players have got a Sympathy Pain in the bin as well. Oop. Okay. AppleSith summons up the Lightbringer, swinging with the Ritualist. Because he spun up some dice, I think what I would have done instead of meditating up, I actually would have used Echo's ability. Use the Gravity Flux on the Ritualist, play the Lightbringer, and just wait to spin up my dice for next turn. Alright, Salamander Book for Herald. Sally for Echo. Back to Killer. They're going at a pretty good pace here. I don't know if these guys have played each other before, but I know that our top four for this tournament is fantastic. He's got a bunch of new players that have made the top cuts before. Um, whoa, not messing around with Sally there at all. Just old soul transfusion that body right off the board. Echoes hanging out naked. All right, so Echo is running Value Town, which tough to run Value Town in this world of Pack. Value Town is Salamander, and the seafoam together is just the amount of what you can produce of goodness. For very few dice, you can generate a lot of damage. Yep. Boy, Killer is really putting her to AppleSith right now. However, take a look at the dice. Um, Harold's only sitting on 2 dice available. Echo has still got 7 dice, and I know what's coming. Yep, there it is. There's the gates thrown open. Now, uh, without the guard on there, like you didn't have to do that, I don't think. Okay. Be interesting to see if we have a clear the board here. You got to figure that KillerCactus is sitting on Phoenix Attendant as his last card there. So he'll just have to be patient, wait till everything is played out, and play at the very last second. Alright, here is Salamander Monk. All these little weenies here are going to catch up. So this is part of the amazing thing of Value Town. Now, we got Value Town on top of with gates thrown open, is that it does produce a bunch of damage for very few dice once you get it out there. It's a bunch of 1/1s hanging out. Alright, Vampire swings in, chip away at the life here. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's happening here. We're just kind of Vampire swung into Sally. Oh, sorry. Salamander attacked Master Vampire and Harold jumped in the way. Oh, okay. Harold throws down a Summon Mirror Spirit Book. Okay. Man, this whole time, Echo's still sitting on his 5th card, which looks like that's going to be a knight. But how good would that be if it was Chains of Creation? I'm always pushing for that for first 5 because it does a lot of work. Sets people back an extra turn, especially when we're looking at stuff like Value Town. Alright, Vampire gets its heyday. Takes out the turtle. Now we're looking at. Oh, snap! Snappity snap. Alright, throws down a cheeky Dreamlock Mage, which I'm sure he wanted to do right away, but just couldn't do it. Now, boom. Tremendous sequencing. Just phenomenal sequencing there by AppleSith. Yeah. So the updates to the cards have been done, which means uh, the new errata, the ghost of the Salamander Monk, is zero attack. But because this tournament started before the errata, we are honoring those rules. So, yeah, that monk gets in there for the kill. Like I said, great sequencing here. Yep, there it is. Well, this has been an action-packed first five. That was really good. You got Harold is in a little bit of a hole. If you look at just dice on board specifically, it's 3-1, right? But I would argue that Dreamlock Mage on board going into second round is just a beating, especially only when you flip up one power card. Um, Cactus is gonna have to, I think, prioritize taking out the Dreamlock Mage. But, well, let's see now. If Cactus was relying on Goathead to get back the Ritualist, that's just not going to happen unless he over meditates, which he might have to do. All right, here we go. Second Lightbringer pops up, swings in a Salamander directly to face. Sith doesn't block it. Must have something going on in hand that I'm not aware of. Because I figured you'd want to block with a Lightbringer just so you get the conjuration number off there. Because now it's capped at two on there. There's two on there. Now there's a lot of game to go in this round. So it's pretty likely that it's going to get gacked. But especially with the snapper. But you usually want to save your snapper for an exhausted salamander monk. But the chain of transfusions are going to make it tough for a turtle anyway. So like I said, there's a lot going on here. So let's see what happens. Yeah, Killer had to meditate a bunch. He's down to 14 cards left in deck. But Sith is actually going down to 12. 12 in deck. Okay. Pretty fascinating. I would love to figure out what the number of meditates it takes to uh, to feel good about it. If you're a mill deck, that's your goal. All right. Snaps back with the sympathy pain after a fire archer. Life totals 16 for Echo. Classic game of sympathy pain ping pong. Harold snaps back with his own sympathy pain. Life totals are tied at 14 now. But we know for a fact that Harold's got a little bit of heal in the deck from Consume Soul. All right, Dreamlock starts to do the work. I suspect swings in for 3. Hmm. I was gonna say I suspect that he just spun up both those horse heads in order to play a sympathy pain, and he probably doesn't need it for anything else at this point. Man, kind of in a no-win situation here. You either block the monk where you get the ghost monk spirit, or you block one of the light bringers and you free up the light bringer conjuration limit. Wow. I can't say enough about the developers of Ash Techie here. Just real quick, taking a look at that. That errata happened yesterday, and the updates are today. The attack going down to 0 with fleeting. Oh, you can target it now too. That's pretty nice. Look at the art on that guy. So good. Dreamlife's one of my favorite. It's a great art. It's also amazing control element. Okay, there's our first Phoenix attendant. Doing work, doing the heal. So Harold's gonna have like what about 20 life? If you watched my previous video, you saw that Phoenix attendant with other heals got KillerCactus 20 life. So I don't think it's gonna happen in this one, but who knows? AppleSith's having to meditate aggressively here, and as far as I know, there's no way to get all three of those realm walkers back. They're gone for the game. Ouch. So he's going to have to rely on Value Town to get there, which is a tough proposition to make if Harold ever snaps back the Ritualist. It's important that Harold gets at least 2 transfusions on board. I think if that happens, the rest of the game is gravy, since we're not really looking at huge attack from AppleSith. Like his big hitters, the Realm Walkers are gone. And all these guys with the little butts are going to be picked apart by the chain and transfusion. Boom. And there goes the Dreamlock Mage. I don't know if AppleSith runs more than one Dreamlock Mage, but we'll find out. Alright, that's one way to get rid of Lightbringer. Pop out the Seafoam. Yeah, and on that block, KillerCactus had no good options there. Um, with those 3 little 1/1s coming in, didn't matter who he blocked, it wasn't a good option. Alright. Harold swings back with his own, or pops out Salamander Monk. So the only way that AppleSith can win at this point is, boy, it's going to have to be Chaos Gravity. So you have to win off the back of Chaos Gravity to get in for the smaller attacks, because that's all he can do. Alright. Turtle swings into Pendant, which, yeah, I think, yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Now, here's something that I know, is that I know that AppleSith has Meteor in the deck. This is one way to get around the Mark Prey. It's kind of what I did during our game. Is not have good units on board to attack. That's the way to do it. Maybe not the best way to do it, but it is a way to do it. All right, now remember this is the old spirit, so it can't be targeted by anything, including attacks. Plays away. It can't be targeted by attacks, but it can be pinged. That's right. You can still target it with spells and abilities. All right, what are you gonna do with all these dice? Second gates thrown open would be amazing. There's the meteor. Clears board, and if he comes back with another gate, boy, that'd be strong. It's amazing how much you don't think about meteor when you're playing it. You just don't. I'm not quite sure why that is, but it's not something that I ever take into account beyond round one. And now that it's been errated out of round one, I'll never think of meteor. It's going to surprise me all day long. He snapped back the fire archer. Shocked. Cactus concentrating on the. Oh, dang. Look at that. Sith didn't have any follow up to the meteor play. Alright, so the boards are cleared except for Harold's lone fire archer on the battlefield, holding it down. Uh, KillerCactus on the power sides. No bueno. Just the one, which is fine since Dreamlock is down. Until Sith windmills down another one, which I would be surprised at. Usually with Dreamlock Mage, you just run the one for open first five. Double illusion, so any double dice cost is prohibitive in decks for the most part. Alright, let's do a deck check. AppleSith at 8 cards. KillerCactus at 9. AppleSith has the Shepherd of Lost Souls. Okay, so he does have a way to get back his lethal damage makers, which is going to be the Realm Walker. Now, the it's going to be tough. You have to be very patient. I think he's going to have to play out his complement books before he can even think about using Realm Walker. I really do think that Killer needs to get that Ritualist to grab the other chant. Unless he's got a chant in hand, two chants on board nullifies these three books almost. Oop, there goes second shepherd. All right, here's monk. Notice there's no time limit during this tournament because of the changes on the rule set. It was decided just to not time the leagues. It's top four anyway. You want pretty clean games. Now in the future, I imagine they'll still be timed until the championship, but even then, I think it should be timed. But because they're going to have to go back and manually change up some things to keep with the old rule set or the before the errata, um, yeah, it was decided no time, which I think is the right way to do it. Just remove any questions that people might have. All right, the PB guard is broken. Echo jumped in the way to save his salamander. I do not remember if AppleSith has a knight in the deck. Use the Realm Walkers, and that's probably all you really need. With that spread of dice, though, he could have some really interesting knights in play, much less like crystal archers as well. If you know anything about my gameplay, I like to have a variety of knights. If I have any knights at all, I want to have a variety because each one does something a little bit differently. Realm Walker's got your bypass. Your Sonic is going to be just breaks guards all day long. Now, the problem with the knights in this matchup, though, is that it's against Herald. That Mark Prey nullifies knights pretty well as long as he's got at least a 2-2 in play. Alright, bye, Turtle. KillerCactus doing a good job of being patient as well here. I know he's got more than one Master Vampire. I wonder if that's what we're going to see here. And he sure as heck has got more than one Phoenix Attendant. Okay. You got to get rid of that attack. So the way for AppleSith to win here is to get Realm Walker into play, swing, Chaos Gravity, swing. Right? Do that a couple times, win the game. The problem is we've got a 2-attack Old Salt here with a 3-butt, which is giant, and Harold's ability to mark prey. Without any charm dice here to run Golden Veil, whatever beefy boy AppleSith runs out there is going to be immediately chomped on. There's no way KillerCactus lets that go. Yeah, you even see here Sith's just like, what do you want me to do, man? Pass. I don't think there's any real advantage from either player here because Echo's got a full grip. Harold will just grab one. Harold's up by 2 dice on the battlefield. It's a blood chain, so now I'm suspecting that he's probably got another blood chains. AppleSith passes. Oh, we got a full house here watching the game. They should. It's a great game. And it's a great game with two excellent decks. I really like how both of these are put together. If you go through, if you know anything about my deck building strategies and theory behind it, is that you've got bypass with the realm walkers in standstill. Okay, phenomenal. You've got your reach, so the damage, how you end the game damage in sympathy pains. So you got a little bit of reach there. Now, the biggest thing that AppleSith doesn't have is removal, but he's relying on battlefield control here between the kneeling, meteor, and and there it is, chaos gravity. The last game I saw him play, he started with oh, there goes another salamander book. Started with Cloudburst Griffin in play to get him more of a threat on the attack. Which pretty phenomenal. Okay. What do we do? Millibook playbook? Swings with the team. What? What's happening? Oh, okay, gotcha. We having a manual into it. So he had played a Mirror Spirit, so he marked him, swung in with the Ghost Spirit, snaps back with the Consume a Soul, heals himself another 2. Which he can do at this point because he's got the Master Vampire on board. If he plays the Realm Walker, it'll just be eaten by the vampire. Now, have we seen any illusion reactions? We haven't. We got to Shadows is the best we've got. Mm. This is what got me. The Master Vampire got me. Pretty good. You heal? Yeah. Yep, he did. All right, we're kind of in a little bit of a stalemate. I think AppleSith is trying to figure out whether he can, if it's worthwhile to cast Gravity right now. Which I don't think it is. If you had your third Shepherd of Souls, just to load up on Realm Walker for the next round, I think that's something you can do. Yep. Get in for 2. Oh, meditates a second Chaos Gravity. Get a Wolf Head. What do you need that Wolf Head for? And pass. All right, going into round 4. I think KillerCactus has got a commanding lead on board now. The Soul Salamander Monk on Echo's side, facing down the Old Salt and the Master Vampire. 5 dice to 1. Rough. But here's a good way to change that up. Lightbringer. Gonna force the Old Salt to attack. Can't imagine that Cactus would attack with the Master Vampire. So something that I don't know if AppleSith has thought of this is that he can use his gravity flexibility offensively. So like if he gravity fluxes the Old Salt, plays the Lightbringer, forces the Master Vampire to attack. Now, he's still in a bad spot. So it's very possible that he does know that it exists, but it just doesn't matter because Harold still has the Mark Prey to stalk something down. So even if he puts down, right? Hey, there's second chain of transfusion. That is looking grim. Sympathy pain for your troubles for attacking with the salamander. Oh, snap! Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You don't see that. Vanish. Amazing. Uh, amazing. AppleSith is putting on a clinic for deck construction right now. Vanish as a ×2 is, I think, a tremendous play right now for competitive play. Well, or is it anymore? You're seeing less molten golds right now because people are leaning into ceremony dice. There's Title Shift. That's another tremendous bypass card. Yeah, awesome. Echo Heart's Title Shift. Now he's getting low on cards, but we're finally going to see that's a lie. I didn't see the second Mirror Spirit book by Harold. Display yourself some Mirror Spirits, call it a day. What Realm Walker can get in for 6? Swing, bada, swing. Yeah, you also just can play with Mirror Spirit, use the focus 1 ability of just exhausting something. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Even if he Chaos Gravities it, in a way, he can just do it again. Uh, Cactus plinking away at the Fire Archer for life. KillerCactus being incredibly patient, really paying off. Has been a great chess match going back and forth. Um, I suspect this was just not quite sure what else to do here, so I'll just play out my Lightbringer. I'd be tempted just to swing to face with the Archer, just daring him to block. There we go. All right, getting a full house here to watch this game. I'm glad. I hope a lot of people check this one out. It's been a fantastic back and forth here. Like right now, Cactus has got the board control going into next round. But he's got the dice as well right now. It feels overwhelming in Cactus's favor. Definitely have to say the Summon Mirror Spirit focus on the book was probably the game changer. And also the turn that he finally got the second chain of transfusion too, like ugh, brutal. Now both players are way down on cards. We're gonna be looking at like just a couple cards left in deck after this round. No one's got any fixing. The 3 illusion dice might be used to spin down for AppleSith, which might be worthwhile next round. But right now, I think they're just gonna kind of. I mean, Cactus got the advantage. AppleSith will be happy just to get out of this round without taking more damage. With only 2 dice left, I don't know what else he can really do. Yeah, they've passed a couple times. Breaks the guard. Okay. Echo meditates away the Lightbringer. What are we doing? Hmm. Pulls up a wolf head and passes. Alright, so now Killer's got to figure out what to do. I think just try and pick off these little dudes to make way for a giant mirror spirit if we can. Alright, one down. Yeah, that's a case where I don't think you actually do the damage. Meditates away a uh, chant of transfusion book. You get a goat head. Swings. I'm assuming that he got it so he could grab a fire archer. Whoa. Uh, yeah. Hits him for the one. The game is over. Whew. Herald control. Still awfully good. About to see a monster. Happiest mirror spirit ever. Alright, AppleSith just has to pass. We're just in the wrap up moments here. Meditate. What's your mirror spirit? Battlefield 7 is huge on Herald. Get the mirror spirit. Let's say there's something Echo can throw down. You can just grab a ritualist or fire archer, which I'd probably say ritualist just to save yourself some damage. Whew, there it is, folks. Tremendous game by both competitors. KillerCactus on the way to the championship game for the first Phoenix Pods tournament. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. I hope I get to comment on more games. And you guys have a great day. Bye bye.